Juror Brenda Moran said the gloves didn't fit and there wasn't enough evidence to convict.
Photos of her after a 1989 beating, but apparently those images had very little effect on the jury.
This is a murder trial, not domestic abuse. If you want to get tried for domestic abuse, go in another courtroom and get tried for that.
There was the bloody glove found behind Simpson's Rockingham estate by police detective Mark Furman. The defense unmasked Furman as a racist and told the jurors not to trust that piece of evidence. They did not.
Somebody planted it.
The idea of a police conspiracy was driven home in June when O.J. Simpson strained to put on gloves worn by the killer. The prosecution's stunt backfired and we now know made an impact on the jury.
In plain English, the glove didn't fit.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of...
With the verdict in, the debate now begins. With so much evidence, why was the prosecution's case utterly rejected? Harvard law professor Arthur Miller believes jurors may have developed a one-track mind.
It may well be that this jury, after 9 months, thought that it should only look at that portion of the evidence that might create a little doubt.
I can't believe he got out scot-free. He's a killer.
Strong feelings on all sides of this verdict, but again, the jury did vote to acquit.
In violation of Penal Code Section 180.
As Nicole's close friend, Faye says she was embarrassed to be an American when she watched many cheer the verdict.
Do they think this is a football game? You know, did he just make a touchdown? This was real. They don't seem to get it. This is not a movie. This is real life. This man has just gotten away with a crime of double homicide.
Alive, he got a gun to his head.
He came into the house carrying a family picture. He was taken into custody. He was searched, and then he was allowed to call his mother, visit the restroom, and had a glass of orange juice.
Monday, June 20th. The world sees a very different O.J. Simpson. Dazed and haggard, he appears in Los Angeles Municipal Court to be arraigned for the double homicide.
Mr. Simpson, do you understand the charges as I read them to you?
Yes.
And have you discussed those charges with your lawyer, sir?
Yes.
At this time, do you wish to enter a plea guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
And that's the right hand that you just had put down on the dirty ground. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are you aware of any mistakes that you made or could have made to contaminate those stains?
No.
DNA testing is at the heart of the prosecution's case against O.J. Simpson. And its star scientific witness is biochemist Robin Cotton.
It's those lengths that are different from person to person.
For 2.5 days, she turns the courtroom into a classroom, giving jurors a crash course in genetic fingerprinting and the first scientific evidence linking Simpson to the double murder. She compares the DNA taken from blood on a sock found in O.J. Simpson's bedroom to Simpson's DNA and the DNA of the victims. According to Cotton's calculations, Nicole Brown Simpson could be the only person in the world whose blood is on that sock. It is perhaps the most damaging testimony yet. And there's more. Cotton says at least 6 blood drops that lead away from the victims at Bundy probably came from O.J. Simpson.
All right, is there anything further from the people?
At this time, subject to the receipt of the people's exhibits into evidence, the people rest.
All right.
After 92 days of testimony and 488 exhibits, the prosecution case comes to an end.
The evidence is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. And these jurors, they're reasonable people. I think they understand just how compelling the prosecution's case is.
But when we come back to this jury and we put it all together, there will be a complete picture that will be simply overwhelming and undeniable of the defendant's guilt.
With people who followed this trial, they have not listened to the evidence. Marcia Clark said a person ran across the driveway. Marcia Clark has said that all along. That is not what Alan Park said. Alan Park said 15 feet roughly from my front door, which was me walking out of my front door, dropping my bags and going back in. He marked it. They put a display up, put an X. She asked them, put an X where you saw this person. 15 feet, never on the driveway, never coming down the driveway, never crossing a driveway. That is the testimony. I mean, throughout this case, it's been this misrepresentation time and time again. People come home from work and they hear the pundits elaborating on these misrepresentations. Listen to what the witness says. Listen to what their testimony is, and not what Marcia Clark told you.
So that
not
was...
what,
So that
not
was,
what Darden told you. And that has been the big problem. Fortunately for me, the jury listened to what the witnesses said and not Marcia Clark's or Darden's or anyone else's rendition of what they said.